Here's a look at your market recap on this Wednesday, January the 21st. Take a look at the early listings we're expecting around the auction barns on Thursday. Wheeler Livestock Auction in Osceola, they're expecting about 1,500 head. New Cambria Livestock Market, they've got a full herd dispersal of about 150 head listed there. No early listings for Mocan or Mid-Missouri Stockyards in Phillipsburg. Of course, a couple of special replacement cow sales coming up this weekend. Tina Livestock Market, they've got their monthly replacement cow sale Friday evening at 6 o'clock, expecting about 400 head there. Green Sea Livestock Market on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock. They've got about 300 head on their early listings there. Got the official estimates for the cattle on feed report that'll be released on Friday afternoon. The placement estimate for the pre-report, 93.1%. Of course, the range on that's always quite wide this month, 88% to 95.1%. The on-feed number estimated at 96.8 with a range from 96 to 97.6. And marketing's expected to be at 101.7% with a range from 100 to 102. Taking a look at what happened at the auction barns around the state on Wednesday. Springfield Livestock Marketing Center, they sold 936 head. The steers under 600 pounds, weak over 600 pounds, stayed to $5 lower. Heifers were steady to weak. Farmington Regional Stockyards, they had 675 head this week. The market there was uneven from 8 lower to 12 higher, with some lightweight heifer calves sharply higher. South Central Regional Stockyards in Vienna, they had 906 head this week. The steers under 650 pounds firmed to 5 higher. Heavier weights were steady. Heifers under 450 pounds, 5 to 10 lower. Heavier weight heifers steady to firm. Windsor Livestock Auction, they had 2,894 head sold on Wednesday. Compared to last week, the steers and heifers stayed at $5 higher. Some spots at 10 to 15 higher on some fancy 5.5 to 6.25 weight steers. The feeder steers, medium and large ones, 4 to 5 weights sold from 470 to 530, 5 to 6 weights at 450 to 520, 6 to 7 weights at 391 to 470, some fancy steers up to 487. 7 to 8 weights at 387 to 406. The feeder heifers, medium and large ones, 400 to 500 pounds at 430 to 515. 5 to 6 weights at 385 to 443. Some 6 to 7 weight heifers at 370 to 410. Some 7 to 725 pound heifers, just a handful of them, all tagged as replacements, 372.5 to 377.50. Box beef cutout values closed higher on Wednesday. Choice up $1.35 at $366.11. Select up $2.61 at $362.45. Those values based on 138 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $3.66. Negotiated feedlot trades so far for the week. Picked up a few more sales, but still no significant volume so far this week. About 1,600 head total. Of course, most of those occurred yesterday in Iowa. They've turned in 650 head so far. Kansas, 274 head. Nothing in Nebraska, and of course, not getting any information out of Texas currently. Most of those live sales have pretty much been steady with last week thus far on that light volume at 232. Taking a look at the closing futures markets from Wednesday, live cattle for February, 72 higher, 233.10. April up 37 at 234.95. And June, 230.87 up 27. Feeder cattle for January, 60 cents higher, 363.22. March was up $1.70 at 359.37, and April up 167 at 358.12. February lean hogs unchanged, 87.85. April 95.60 up 42, and May 99.27 up 27. Turning our attention to the grain markets at the elevators around the state on Wednesday, corn was uneven from 7 lower to 1 higher, beans 11 to 16 higher, wheat was mixed 2 lower to 2 higher, and grain sorghum 2 cents lower. Corn bids in the St. Louis region, 441, Kansas City at 426, grain sorghum in St. Louis 436, Kansas City 336. Soybean bids in the St. Louis region, 1093 to 1094, Kansas City 1029 to 1059, Wheat bids in St. Louis, 499 to 507. Kansas City at 470. Recapping what took place on the Board of Trade on Wednesday, March corn 2 cents lower. May corn was down 1.5. March beans were up 11.25. May beans up 11. Wheat contracts in Chicago, the March down 2.5 cents. Once again, we're recording this a little late on Wednesday night, so we're into overnight trading on the grains now at the trading floors. Not technically floors anymore, but we still refer to them as that. Corn contracts, March 423. March beans setting at 1067.75. Wheat at 509.25, and those contracts are all slightly up higher on the overnights currently. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's your farm news. This is Help Hancock.